Good morning, Eris and MLS and Sal. Good morning. Everyone is here. Let me check on Rumble because goodness knows I can't keep track of anything. It's all the squirrels, I'm telling you. But y'all, and JKD Buck and Slinky, uh, I am here to tell you that small woodland creatures are here plotting against us. Our newsreel this morning is full of small woodland creatures. Welcome back, One Blessed Nana. I haven't seen you in a bit. I hope everything has been going great for you and this holiday season is just keeping you busy and you haven't been under the weather. But y'all, look, I have had a vendetta against deer, or deer have had a vendetta against me. So when I see a deer story, look, I am here on a one-woman mission to, show the world the danger of deer. I'm just saying. But y'all, there was a mastermind deer that led police on a chase through Sam's Club in Southern California. I wonder if he got any of the free samples. You guys know, if you have been to a Sam's Club on a Sunday, first of all, do not go to a Sam's Club on a Sunday. But if you happen to go, those sample carts are like a feeding frenzy with a pack of hyenas, and they have not seen. You would think people have not fed in years. And y'all, we are in the Midwest. We are a fluffy people. It's not like we have not seen a carb, okay? But you would think, looking at those sample tables, that we have never seen a doggone Oreo, a double stuffed. Like, we are like, "A double stuffed? What is that? I have never seen a double stuffed Oreo. Yes, I would like to try one of those." Act all shocked, like, "A double stuffed, you say?" I love it, oh my gosh. I generally don't, not 'cause that involves peopling but the husband and the Walmart greeter boy children love the sample carts. If I have planned poorly enough to have to go to a Sam's Club on a Sunday, I am already there with my earbud in, listening to true crime, and I am on a mission. I have a list, and I will not be bothered. One deer got a little more than he bargained for when he tried to make a quick grocery run through a Sam's Club in Southern California. Corona Police Department posted a video of the mishap on Instagram, sharing surveillance footage of the hoofed intruder's antics. According to the post, police got a call Thursday reporting a runaway deer running amok in South Corona. Look, I'm telling y'all, that's good eating. Look, I'm not saying, but I'm saying, if he wanders into the store next to the meat section, can you take him home? What is the legality? Now there is the sample carts, but they always have people trying to talk to you. I would just like to be handed wine and not talked to. And it's always busy too. Uh, yeah, but I do have a serious question. If the deer goes near the meat section, is it legal to, let's just say, hunt it for safety reasons and then take it home out of season? I mean, you are doing a public service, and it was near the meat section. I'm just saying, it seems like a gray legal area. The deer, identified as a young buck, first tore through a neighborhood, jumping a fence and even taking a dip in a neighbor's pool before ending up at Sam's Club. He too was like, "A double stuffed Oreo, you say? I have never heard of these." In the video, the frazzled deer can be seen entering the store through automatic doors, which apparently were not set to differentiate between people or deer before opening up. The deer, who the police jokingly called a mastermind, look, I have seen cops. This deer is smarter than a lot of the people on cops. I have taken to watching these body cam videos of police officers, and this deer might be the smartest person captured on body cam footage to date. At one point, he's walking alongside a woman casually pushing her grocery cart, and let me guess, she has no situational awareness. She is probably lost and looking at her phone. She would not know that the deer is next to her because, of course, she wouldn't. A officer can be seen chasing behind the buck who manages to make a pretty impressive run for it. A few moments after the deer leading the officers on a high-speed foot chase, he finally comes sliding out a corner to a stop, frazzled. The officer who gave chase appears to console the deer in a video until local animal control come to pick it up. He was soon returned to his home in the wild. Again, I am just saying, if he is near the meat section, look, have y'all seen ground beef prices? Look, I ain't above eating a little venison. I mean, we went through 4 pounds of ground beef making taco night last night. I'm just saying, y'all. Anywho, let's go to the next story. This poor woman, oh my gosh, can you imagine? So, an Ohio woman sells her home to fund a dream 3-year luxury cruise, only for the company to cancel the trip. And welcome, Sarah Adams and Wolfram. Thank you for wiping your paws. Fry continues to not to. Unfortunately, okay, we have, like I said, my neighborhood, there are like 10% of us that are under the age of having seen the First World War. And, Fry is aggressively friendly slash maybe barks at other dogs, and there's this one couple that barely waves, and it's that tight wave, it's like that, and I happen to be having Fry out there, and they're like, "Oh, you got a dog?" And I was like, "Yeah, he was supposed to be a Pomsky," and the lady looked like, "That is not a Pomsky." And I said, "Yes, that's the point supposed to be was the descriptor of why he's not a Pomsky." And I was just trying to I was like, "Yeah, we're, changing around training plans and different things because he is obviously not a Pomsky." And she's like, "Well, they have a dog. They have a big Scotty." And she's just like, and so Fry is, of course, acting like a heathen and barking and, being a jumping bean and being ridiculous. And she's like, "Hmm." And I was like, "Well, you met the neighbors. Wonderful, Fry." I don't think they were too impressed, but then again, I don't think they've been impressed with anything their entire life. So let's get back to this unfortunate woman. This poor woman sold her entire doggone house, a 3-year cruise line. I mean, I hope this woman had been on a cruise before and she knew she wasn't gonna get seasick because holy, giblets if you got seasick and you already locked yourself into a 3-year cruise. Uh, in New York Post, you are on pun parole. One Blessed Nana says, "I have one chocolate lab basset hound mix who is supposed to be a Shar mix. I know more than the previous owner, apparently." Look, he was part of a surrender, they really are. I don't know why they even put them in I know you can allegedly make gravy or stuffing with them, but honestly, that and the turkey neck that looks like, well, looks phallic, honestly. If they could just stop stuffing those in the turkey cavity, I would be much appreciated of that. If we could have turkey neck giblet turkeys, if we could have a leaded, unleaded version of the turkeys, that would be great. I would like a giblet and, phallic neck turkey-free experience next year, if possible, just asking, Butterball, hear me out. I I don't like having to deal with those things. Let's get back to this poor woman. An Ohio woman sold her home to experience the trip of a lifetime in a $32,000 luxury cruise that would have taken her across the globe, only for it to never happen. Lord, I hope she got a refund. Carrie Whitman, the head of a marketing agency, Clever Lucy, said everything turned for the worse after Life at Sea on November 17th notified her that they had to cancel the trip due to not being able to secure a ship for the voyage. Now, I am not a clever person, but it would seem to me that if you are a company selling a voyage, you would have what is called a ship first. I mean, I am not, a ship. I'm not a cruise line ologist, but it would seem one would have a ship before pitching this, unless you are a swindler. Quote, I have been working over the last 8 months to really get everything in line, my life organized, so I can make it happen, Whitman told the Inquirer. You went to the Inquirer? It was really disappointing to find out it wasn't going to pan out. The Dream Luxury Cruise trip offered travelers a stay on a board for 3 years while the ship made stops in 148 countries and visited 382 ports across every continent. Wolfram says, "Fry, I am your father. Come to the dark side. Join me and we will rule the house as father and son. Darth Wolfram." Well, Darth Wolfram, can you also tell your son to stop humping, Thor? Because I don't think Thor appreciates it. Or and alternately, he appreciates it too much. So, if if we could have a talk, use your fatherly wisdom, I don't care about the dark side so much, but if we could get him to stop humping the cat, that would be great. Because the kids are like, "Why are they dancing together?" I'm like, "Look, y'all, it is 10 o'clock. I can't answer questions. I am done." Uh, the Life at Sea cruise trip was scheduled to depart from Istanbul and advertised that they would provide food, travel, internet access, medical care, and more, starting at $30,000 per year for each guest, the website showed. And welcome, greedy bloke. Again, it seems like they would have a daggone ship. Whitman told the outlet she wanted to do the trip because it would give her the opportunity as a mostly remote worker to travel across the world while still being able to run her company. Whitman sold her home and signed a short-term lease for an apartment to reserve her room, which cost $38,500 according to the outlet. Well, from whatever you can help with would be great, because I don't want mutant catlets. I'm just saying I can't right now. Maybe next year I can deal with mutant catlets, but at least wait for December. I called everyone. I kept expecting someone to tell me that this was a bad idea. I called my financial investment folks, and they're like, "You should do it," Whitman recalled. Like, "These guys are the most conservative financial people. I cannot believe they're telling me I should do it." Uh, Problems arose when Life at Sea cruise, originally scheduled to leave on November 1st, notified passengers of having to push back the departure date multiple times. The cruise company had plans to purchase a Carnival Corp ship called Aid Adara, but a different company secured the ship. Whitman became frightened and didn't know what to make of the multiple pushbacks for when the cruise line would eventually depart. It was just I was oh, it was just in a spot where you didn't want to plan anything forward, Whitman said. Once I knew it was a question, I was like, "Do I make a dinner reservation for January?" Life at Sea Cruised announced it's offering refunds to all the passengers from December 1st until February 2024 in monthly installments. No, the F you're not. You're giving me all my gosh darn money back right the hell now. It's not my fault y'all didn't buy a damn ship the first place. Oh, hell no. I am unleashing all of my power of the redhead. I sold my damn house. I am coming there without a brawl, going full crazy. Do not make me take my earrings off. It all hell will break loose. I will film this. It will go viral on TikTok. Do not make me lose my mind. I believe that would be the YouTube video that I would place on Twitter or however you make these viral videos. Yeah, like, no bra on, full on, cops, the tank top with a spaghetti stain, the Pabst Blue Ribbon, full on, no home training, like, just going balls to the wall crazy, like, that's how it would go. I mean, I done sold my house. Y'all didn't even buy a daggone cruise ship before you sold this to me. It would be on. It would be I would paint a tramp stamp on my I don't even have a tattoo. I would get a tattoo. I would fully method act my way into this. It would go I mean, y'all have no idea. I would flash mob. I would play Red, Red Wine, even though it hurts my soul, continuously. I would even do the Futurama thing. I would do the hustle in front of your office in the corporate sense until you repaid my money, like Fry did for his dog. Don't e Hello, Nandor's man bun. I'm going on a tangent rant, of course, because why not? Other customers were furious about the abrupt cancellation from the luxury cruise line as some claim to not even have a place to stay because of it. Quote, "There's a whole lot of people right now with nowhere to go, and some need their refund to even get a place to go. It's not good right now," one passenger told CNN. Thanks, Nandor. I try to warn people I made a little tangent slide. "I'm very sad, angry, and lost," another passenger said. "I had the next 3 years of my life planned to live an extraordinary life, and now I have nothing. I'm having a hard time moving forward." Okay, ma'am, look, I know this is upsetting, but have you ever gone to Sam's Club on a Saturday? You can pretend to not have ever heard about a double stuffed Oreo and get, a free sample. Um, in shame for my particular state, yes, this is a headline. Yes, this is from Indianapolis, Indiana, and yes, I am so proud. Woman gets short prison sentence for shooting the father of her 2 kids in the head after late time smexy time at a playground in an argument over cheating. Only the classiest in the Circle City. You know us. In Indianapolis, Indiana, a woman charged in 2022 for shooting the father of her 2 children in the head area after a late night smexy time rendezvous at an apartment complex playground. What in the actual you know what? This is why people take those Clorox wipes and spray them the heck down. I already had to worry about all this stuff, and now you have the was sentenced to serve 1 year behind bars following a plea of reckless homicide. Okie dokie. Well, there you go. Sal, she's apparently nimble, and she's always stays strapped. So as long as you're faithful, she's adventurous and she likes I can't for the life of me. As part of the plea agreement in the death of 41-year-old Deshaun Roscoe, 2 counts for neglect of a dependent were dismissed against Tanika Miller, who is now 33. The bizarre story of how the May 27th, 2022 incident unfolded was revealed a couple weeks after Roscoe was fatally, force multiplied in the head. According to Miller's full statement, the version of events as she told in the probable cause affidavit in the case, the couple of several years put their 2 children to bed on the night of May 26, 2022, before the parents left their apartment close to 1 a.m. for a little slap and tickle. After a short walk away, they had, smexy time on a blanket at the Carriage East Side apartment complex playground. Now, let me explain a couple things. These are probably Section 8 apartments, and I'm not talking down about them, but generally, they are not gonna be maybe the most quiet places at 1 a.m. of a Saturday because, that's partying time. So, there's possibility that people are just walking around, not to mention, generally, these are not spacious apartment areas. These are fairly close courtyard apartment area. It these are not spacious, luxurious places. So, I'm guessing it was dinner and a show for everyone else in the, apartment area. An hour later, the Indiana Metropolitan Police Department found Deshaun Roscoe fatally shot in the front of the leasing office and community room outside his apartment. Meanwhile, Roscoe's and Miller's children, then 9 months old and 3 years old, were found unattended in their apartment. Their responding officers, quote, observed what appeared to be human blood on the outer door handle and inside the apartment on a light switch, the affidavit said. Under questioning, Miller said she and Roscoe felt comfortable leaving their sleeping children alone at the apartment because the planned playground smexy time area wasn't far away and the encounter wouldn't take very long. Well, I mean, honesty is the best policy. Miller acknowledged that she and Roscoe had an argument after, the old slap and tickle time, and she was strapped, because protection given the late night hour. The argument was about cheating, the affidavit detailed. Uh, Miss Miller and Mr. Roscoe drove to the park and okay, how did what? Y'all didn't even walk? It was close enough to walk and y'all drove. I cannot with people. Um and had this Mexi time as planned. When going to the park, Miss Miller stated she'd brought her, force multiplier for protection since they were out late in the apartment complex. After having their fun, she said she and Mr. Roscoe had an argument about cheating on him, and she eventually left Mr. Roscoe at the park. Alive or unwell, the affidavit said. Miller briefly left after the argument, but she tracked down Roscoe by the car, and the arguing involved pushing and a demand to drive escalated to a fatal shot to the cheek. Miller, for her part, said the shooting was an accident. Quote, she pulled up next to him in her vehicle. Miss Miller stated that she and Mr. Roscoe began to argue. Mr. Roscoe was trying to sit in Miss Miller's lap. Miss Miller said Mr. Roscoe was facing the vehicle with his left hand holding onto her steering wheel and his right arm down to his side. Miss Miller said she got out of the car. She grabbed Mr. Roscoe's right wrist with her right hand because she didn't want him to strike her. Miss Miller stated that she also had her force multiplier with her in her right hand. When asked to clarify this statement, Miss Miller changed her story and said it was in her left hand. Ms. Miller continued to say that once she was outside of the vehicle, she was going to attempt to get back into the car on the passenger side so Mr. Roscoe could drive home. Ms. Miller stated Mr. Roscoe pushed her in the back. Then she turned around with the force multiplier in her right hand and struck Mr. Roscoe on his right shoulder. Ms. Miller stated she saw the force multiplier go off, striking Mr. Roscoe in the right cheek with a single round. Hmm, sounds legit. Happens, if I had a nickel for every time this happened to me. So, Sarah Adams, I stole that from, uh, oh gosh, Roanoke Gaming. It's a really cool channel if you're an Uber nerd and you like he was a former, microbiologist and, uh, all the sciencey stuff, but basically he breaks down video games and movies and gives, like they're fake, so he gives biologically what could be happening in those situations. It's really cool, but super nerdy, so I recommend it, but he says that, so, instead of saying the other thing, I have s but I have stolen it from him, but I always cite references. Uh Undergoing further questioning, Miller said she, quote, "took off the safety of the handgun when she took it to the park to have smexy times with Mr. Roscoe." Typically, you put safety stuff on when you go have smexy times. Detective McWhorter asked Miss Miller why she took the safety off, and Miss Miller stated that she could use the force multiplier faster in an emergency. Investigators said when CSU Shalehas processed the force multiplier from inside the vehicle, they advised Detective McWhorter that the safety on the force multiplier was on. Citing surveillance video, authorities said it appeared Roscoe did shove Miller before she pushed back and struck him while holding her force multiplier. It is now a kink multiplier, you know? You are right. Quote, Mr. Roscoe immediately drops to the ground. Miller then tries to apply pressure to Mr. Roscoe's head, the affidavit continues. Miss Miller is then observed on video surveillance getting into her vehicle, driving to the middle of the parking lot near the front of her building, running inside, then running back to Mr. Roscoe's body on foot. Miss Miller stays with Mr. Roscoe's limp body until IMPD arrives on scene. Marion County Court's records reviewed by Law and Crime show that Miller pleaded guilty to reckless homicide on Monday, December the 4th, resulting in a sentence of 6 years, with 2 of those years suspended, 1 year to be served in state prison and 3 years to be served under community supervision and home detention. Miller was also sentenced to 1 year of probation. So, nothing for the fact that, her kids have lost their dad. They're not have lost their mom, and they're gonna go into a system that look, DCFS sometimes does more harm than good. Eh, mm, okay. So, anyhoozle, yes, this is from my home state. Super proud, as always. Just for the love of in our second story, I'm telling you, these little buggers are out to get us. They took we gave them an inch during the coof, and they're trying to run all over us. Rodents snacking on cars is now an exploding problem. The daggone squirrels tried to eat my brake lines. They done ate my brake lines, and they tried to unalive me. I contend they are plotting with the deer. It is a full-on conspirosity. Mechanics are noticing a sharp uptick in cases of rodents snacking on different areas of cars and doing plenty of damage. This problem isn't new at all, but is becoming far too common lately. What is what it really comes down to is cars sitting longer periods of time without moving, thanks to the you know, virus of unspecified origin that we will never talk about ever again. Rodents are taking advantage of our not movement. Drive more, people. Of course, anyone who has one or more classic cars, which might sit for an extended period of time with little to no use, already knows the potential for rodents to invade. The general public, however, seems to be catching up on the risk. When a rat chews through an engine harness, the result can be a repair for a few $100s. The problem is so bad, some mechanics are seeing 7 times as many rodent damage cases on cars. Yeah, for cereal, we have tried um, laundry sheets, mothballs, cotton balls soaked in peppermint oil. Look, y'all, not to tell you nothing, but if you start to see an Etsy store with taxidermied Sailor Moon and Star Wars squirrels, uh, it may not be me, but allegedly it might be me, okay? I'm just saying, 'cause holy God. Uh, they're seeing 7 times as many rodent damage cases on cars than what they normally would, according to the Detroit Free Press report. Some shops have discovered little critters have died in tight spots. That happened to Mr. Moe in his new car. The smell was horrifying. Oh my god. I was like, "Can we just burn the new car? We'll get a new one." Apparently, insurance won't cover that. Death by bad smell is not a, means for reason that you can total a car, which I thought was just very rude, but, it is what it is. Making removing the, unalive body as well as the nesting material a time-consuming task car owners have to shell out handsomely to have done. Yeah, it took 8 hours. It was not pleasant. Not helping matters is the fact the growing number of new cars have plant-based wiring insulation. Greta Doomsburg, are you responsible for this absolute BS? So Greta Doomsburg, the deer and the rodents are in on this. It is an Illuminati, right triangle of ridiculousness. I am about to lose my daggone mind. Nope. Nope. I should have seen it coming. I went all Dale Gribble on it. I should have seen it coming. It had a distinct Greta Doomsburg smell. No, Tupac is too cool for this. This is a total Illuminati. For the I just While they might still chew on petroleum-based material, that green feature could actually work as an attractant. I have never in my life vibed more with Emperor Palpatine in my entire flippin' life. Bring me every villain from Captain Planet, you know, Texas Oil Tycoon. I am about ready to become Texas Oil Tycoon from Captain Planet. Captain Planet's gonna come up with his super mullet, and I'm gonna be like, "Drill, baby, drill." Gonna flip Captain Planet off. I y'all, to to I'm a crazy eye AOC and Doomsburg and flipping y'all with the idiocracy. What the actual schnell? With the CDC warning rodents could be extra aggressive thanks to restaurants not providing food scraps and garbages, your car could become the next best thing to a meal. Great, we're having Hunger Game rodents coming to attack our cars because we've gone green, so they're gonna, have little shivs to try to attack us. Y'all, I can't. What to do to keep rodents away from your car? I don't know. Driving it regularly is a good way. Apparently, having 5 cats does nothing because the squirrels just look at them. Having Fry apparently does nothing using mothballs, laundry sheets, Q-tips, cotton balls, nothing works. Check the engine bay and front wheel wells of your vehicle regularly. There are all kinds of rodent repellents you can use around your car. You might consider getting a cat and letting it roam around. Basically, if you live in an area with plenty of rodent activity, you need to stay vigilant. If you don't, the result could be a nice big repair bill, or you could be driving along a very curvy highway and realize you have no brakes. Yeah, seriously, I need a clank. I have my mug full of wine I didn't finish last night, but that would not be appropriate. Um, Look, if you are in Australia, my simple trick to you, tip, and I don't give much life advice because I am just a mouthy redhead on the internet, but don't pick up nothing. Everything around you is trying to daggone kill you, okay? But an Australian teen nearly died after collecting shells hiding a blue-ringed octopus. An Australian teen nearly died when he was bitten by a poisonous blue-ringed octopus hiding in a shell he scooped out of the ocean to show his niece. Poor guy, he was trying to be a good uncle. Jacob Eggington, 18, was swimming and looking for seashells at Shoalwater Beach in Perth when an octopus, which carries a particularly deadly venom, bit him. The teen didn't notice he was bitten until after he showed the shell to his niece, catching sign of the deadly animal before it could harm her too. As soon as he saw the octopus, he yelled really loud and grabbed the baby. His brother Joshua told 7 News, "Oh, that's good. He's actually a good hero. I mean, what a good uncle. He saw the octopus before it could get to the, little baby niece." So it's one of the more traumatic thoughts of what could have happened. After spotting the creature, which was no bigger than the palm of a hand, Eggington inspected his leg and found a painless bite, a move that saved his life because it prompted him to seek immediate medical attention. Ring or blue-ringed octopuses carried a deadly toxin that has no cure, and it took doctors 6 hours to stabilize the teen after he was carried off by stretcher from the beach. A bite from one of these creatures can kill someone within 30 minutes, according to experts. The animal is often spotted on Perth beaches. Experts recommend that beachgoers avoid waters without reef shoes and always be alert as the creatures are good at camouflaging themselves. The octopuses use the venom to kill prey for food. They live in the Pacific Ocean and Indian Ocean, typically near coral reefs, according to the National History Museum, where they're really pretty. The creatures only show off its blue rings when it feels threatened. Blue rings octopuses are only 5 inches long. Well, how does it kill you? I mean, is it a neurotoxin? Is it a hemotoxin? Well, I mean, I guess he didn't die, so that's really, really good. But also, maybe just don't touch anything in Australia. Just don't touch it. They're very smart. Oh, it is a neurotoxin. Well, that sucks all the balls. In other news, from Law and Crime, a kidnapping victim texts 911 from the back of a suspect's car, leading to rescue and arrest. Again, not giving out life advice, but if you are going to, mow nap or kidnap someone, look, all you have to do is put a clearance sign and like some candles out in the back of a van because, clearance candles, I'm like, half the women in the world would be there. It's just a fact. We lose all our senses. Situational awareness becomes fuzzy, unfortunately. It's a defect in our wiring. I don't know why. A majority of us get clearance blindness. It's a terrible thing, but most of us have worked to overcome it. A man kidnapped and put into a but if you are going to kidnap someone, maybe pat them down and make sure they don't have a cell phone. I know. Candles make things smell good. And y'all, I'm telling you, wait till after Christmas, go in there having the 75% off sale and just, take your arm and go drink, go full Big Daddy on that. Don't dent the candles, but just pull all of them in your cart and you will not run out until like June, okay? Get all the shaving kits. I'm telling you, won't run out of razors until June. That is how we do in a big family. All right, yeah, Bobby Baloney. Look, if Bigfoot does not decide to run with me, you can be my VP, Bobby. A man kidnapped and put, in a car, texted 911 from the back seat, leading to his rescue and his captor's arrest, people said or police said in Florida. I think we need to add this now. It wouldn't be a show if we didn't end with Florida man. The Osceola County Sheriff's Office received a text on November 29th. The victim said he was being held against his will and was in a blue Kia headed to a bank in Kissimmee. He gave his location and deputies spotted the vehicle. They conducted a felony traffic stop and arrested two people, according to a probable cause arrest affidavit reviewed by Law and Crime. The victim told the detectives a woman he knew as Dee contacted him and said she needed help. She needed a place to stay and a shower, so he bought her a room at a motel on November 28th. He said they smoked some of the devil's lettuce and drank some booze, and he passed out. When he woke up, he realized $500 was missing out of his wallet. His shock. I can't imagine he was shocked. Osceola. Not areola, but, I do have a sinus thing going on, so, you know how your ears are always popping? So I go from being able to hear and everything is really, really loud to being half deaf, and it's yes, that's what I said. It's probably a real town somewhere in Florida, I'm sure. Uh, when Dee, later identified as Christina Denise Jones, 37, became irate when he confronted her, her brother, Curtis Jones, came into the room. They began, selling illicit street pharmaceuticals in the room, the affidavit said. Christina and Curtis Jones also demanded the victim show them how much money he had in the bank and forced him to open up the bank app, the affidavit said. Curtis Jones allegedly threatened to quote, slice him up with a knife when the victim refused to give up $900. The victim said he was scared, so he went along after the suspects arranged a ride to the bank. They had to call an Uber to get him to go. As they were waiting, another man named Jorge Alfonso Alvarez and was tasked with making sure the victim didn't leave the hotel room. According to the affidavit, how many people does it take to kidnap one man? Apparently, all of them. The victim secretly texted 911 on the way to the bank. Quote, he gave us a very good description of the car, Osceola County Sheriff's Marco Lopez told local NBC affiliate WESH. Quote, he maintained calm. We saturated the area with deputies, found the vehicle, conducted a traffic stop in which I'm guessing the driver said, man, I have done nothing wrong. Why are you pulling me over? Sir, I was obeying all the traffic signals. Why no, usually it'll be, "Why are you pulling me over, officer? I was going the speed limit." "My license and registration, why do you ask?" "No, he's here of his free will." "No, I don't know why he would be texting that he's being kidnapped. I am not resisting. I am a traveler on the road. I do not submit to your authority." And then it becomes a taser thing. But that's how I imagined that it would go down. The Joneses and Alvarez are facing charges of robbery, false imprisonment, kidnapping, aggravated assault. All 3 are at the Osceola County Jail without bond. I am guessing that they all got signature bonds of $500 and they are out right now because look, y'all, like I said, I don't know why I've gone down this particular rabbit hole of of YouTube lately, but I've been watching these, police body cam videos, and I swear to God, it's like felony, police chase, he's going 120 miles an hour, runs into a, freaking traffic pole, fights with officers, has a bunch of street pharmaceuticals, and it's like $500 signature bond. Oh, he and, 4 counts of felony bail jumping, and he's like and he was let out the next day on a $500 signature bond, and I'm like, "Huh, yeah, no." So that's why I've decided to probably do a weekly, uh, you know, "When would Mo tase people?" thing. I've gotta make a little thing for it, but definitely we need a when would Mo start tasing people? Because these officers are way too nice. Look, y'all, I would not be an officer, but every daggone time, it is like, felony resisting, felony evading officer, felony destruction of property, you know, 18 bond skippings, and I was let out on a $500 signature bond. It's like, "Okie dokie. Well, I think we have figured out the recidivism problem." Good morning, spirit matter. You have caught us and then, I had not seen anything about this, but apparently this happened. So a former Olympian was sentenced for deliberately crashing a plane into YouTube for a publicity stunt. Now, why hadn't I thought of that? Oh, because I can't fly, and why the hell would you do that? An extreme sports athlete from Santa Barbara County was sentenced to 6 months in federal, prison on Monday for intentionally crashing a small plane for a YouTube stunt and destroying the wreckage. Oh, so he didn't smash into YouTube. So maybe you should put in a YouTube stunt. In November 2021, authorities say Trevor Jacob, 30, took off from Lompoc City Airport in his single-engine Taylorcraft BL-65 on a solo flight purportedly destined for Mammoth Lakes. About 30 minutes later, while flying above Los Padres National Forest, in a YouTube tube video titled "I Crashed My Airplane," shows Jacob saying the plane's lone engine had failed. "Holy bleep, holy giblets, I'm over the mountain and my engines have given out, or my engines I have an engine out," he said. Well, if it's a single engine plane, that would be your only engine, and hmm. What? Sarah Adams says, "With his friend's ashes, no less." What the actual Oh, no. Sarah Adams, I saw that. Piss off profiler Pat Brown. She's 68. You don't make the woman a woman that age. No, she is hot, and she is having hot flashes, and she is angry. You do not make a woman No, no. And then he tried to hide it. What the actual Schnell? "Holy giblets, I'm over the mountains, and I have an engine out," he says. Well, I don't think jumping out is gonna be the best idea, but, go ahead. Or go ahead. So he jumped out. Did he take his friend's ashes? Oh, I guess not. Dude still had a daggone selfie stick. I swear to the all that is holy, y'all, dude had a daggone selfie damn stick. "Sir, come to my house. You need at least 75,000 chores. I have I have leaves you need to rake. They are wet and grody. You need to You need to rake some leaves. There are gutters to be cleaned. I can find you, there are baseboards to be wiped down. You need some chores you need to do some chores. You obviously have too much daggone free time to be messing with some foolishness like this. I cannot even for the love of all that is holy. I've got weeds you can pull. I have got cobwebs. We can have you regrout something. You are obviously too bored if you've got time to make up shenanigans like this crap. Jacob jumped from the plane and recorded himself with a stupid daggone selfie stick like he's a 14-year-old prostitute or prostitute. For the love of like he is in front of Hot Topic waiting for the new Henry Styles t-shirt, giggling in front of Spencer's. What the actual hell? There probably is. Uh, Cameras mounted inside and outside the aircraft showed it descending over the hills and eventually crashing into dry brush. Quote, "Thank you, God." No, God wants to be left out of this conversation. He thinks you are a dumbass. Rhett Foreman would like to kick you as a dumbass, okay? "Thank you, universe. Thank you, higher power, for watching over me," he says after hiking to the wreckage. Then he hiked out of the forest and flagged down a driver. Prosecutors say Jacob waited 2 days to report the crash to the National Transportation Safety Board, which told him to preserve the wreckage. He stalled the investigation by telling the NTSB officials he didn't know where the plane went down, according to the DOJ. More than 2 weeks after the crash, he and a friend flew a helicopter to the site and airlifted the wreckage to Rancho Sisquoc in the Santa Barbara County, where it was loaded onto a trailer attached to Jacob's pickup truck. Now, I'm gonna guess that the government doesn't enjoy fuckery when it comes to airplanes. Sir, I guess they're gonna get a little titchy, especially after, 9/11. He then cut up and destroyed the airplane wreckage and over several days deposited and detached parts from the wrecked airplane into trash bins and at the airport and elsewhere, the US Department of Justice, as a totally innocent person would do, destroy the evidence, put limbs and pieces everywhere, just as anyone would do. You know, I am innocent. I have simply burned all the evidence, per usual. Jacob, a former Olympic snowboard cross competitor who competed in the 2014 Sochi Games, pled guilty in June to one count of destruction and concealment with the intent to obstruct a federal investigation. According to the plea agreement, Jacob had secured a sponsorship from a company that sold various products, including a wallet, which he intended to promote in the YouTube video. Okay. The FAA revoked his pilot's license in April 2022. Quote, "It appears that Jacob exercised exceptionally poor judgment in committing this offense," prosecutors argued in a sentencing memorandum. Jacob most likely committed this offense to generate social media and news coverage for himself and obtain financial gain. Nevertheless, this daredevil conduct cannot be tolerated. He got his license back? Oh, for the love of all that is holy. My youngest, most feral one must never, ever find this out because this is the kind of crap that he would wanna do. Although I would probably have very harsh things to say about him if he was holding a selfie stick. No son of mine will have a selfie stick. Not my son. Well, that is the morning newsy news, and I will try to see you guys for a newsy news nooner this afternoon. And remember that tonight there will be no newsy news, but David's law news is pushed back until 8. I've got some stuff to do to get ready for I've got to buy some props for, Megan's deposition on Friday night at 9, and some things for the boys for a Christmas thing that they are doing for their school, because, the school loves to tell us that they have to, you know, have, like, Christmas sweaters and all this other stuff, a couple weeks before the holiday, because it's not like you're busy enough anyway. But that is the name of the game with kiddos and school. So, have a wonderful day. I will see you guys at noon. I will start putting stories together. I'm gonna wake Fry up eventually. He has 2 modes. It's either sleeping or Zoomies. There's no middle. And then, I'm gonna go to my glamorous life of laundry and dishes. I will see you guys in a little bit. Have a wonderful day. Bye, guys.